Hi guys, finally we have a true Brexit benefit and we can all celebrate the wonderful news. So before we hear about how Brexit is delivering in spades, a little context. Following the crisis of 2007-2008, the EU imposed a cap on the bonuses people working in the financial sector would receive in order to stop them speculating and taking massive risks with other people's money. Well, now that the UK is no longer a member of the European Union, the Wild West is back, and city traders stand to make up to 25 times their salaries in bonuses. Wonderful Brexit news that could in no way go wrong and result in highly risky investments being made, which could result in another collapse and see taxpayers bailing out banks and financial institutions again. So let's hear a bit more about this wonderful Brexit news.
Well, Kamali, this relates to Goldman Sachs, the Wall Street bank, which I understand this afternoon has decided to remove a cap on bonuses for its top London-based deal makers. Now, the origins of the bonus cap lay in Britain's former membership of the European Union. The EU has a cap in place, which means that investment banks cannot pay their senior staff more than double their base salaries in bonuses. Now, Britain, of course, has left the EU, and the government has decided that the bonus cap was risked making the financial services industry less competitive versus New York and other global financial centres, so it decided to remove the cap. British regulators agreed with that, and now Goldman Sachs is arguably the first major bank to decide that it will implement this government decision to scrap the bonus cap. So instead of this 2-to-1 ratio, Kamali, I understand that Goldman will move to a 25-to-1 ratio. And to illustrate the point, a top London-based trader at Goldman Sachs who earns a salary of, say, £500,000 would have been only able to be paid £1 million under the terms of the bonus cap. They will now be able to earn £12.5 million under the new pay ratio that Goldman is adopting. Now, of course, many people will view this move controversially given the struggles of the UK economy, but many others, including the Governor of the Bank of England, Andrew Bailey, had argued against the EU bonus cap, saying that actually it made banks less safe because it put less of traders and bank employees' money at risk, and therefore...
Okay. Andrew Bailey, the Brexiteer, saying, look, we had this cap under the EU when we're a member of the EU, and it limited traders' ability to speculate, but it also increased the risk. Now what we're going to do is remove this cap where they can earn up to 25 times their salary. They could only double their salary before, poor guys. Now they can earn up to 25 times their salary, and Andrew Bailey sees this as less risky than if they can just double. Just think about that for a moment. A trader is now free to earn up to 25 times his or her salary. And Andrew Bailey thinks, well, they're going to look at the risk and say, well, it's too risky for me to get. Can you imagine having your salary increased by 25 times? And there's a risk here that if you take this risk, you're going to increase your salary by 25 times. Now, there's another layer to add to this, beyond the absurdity that people are not going to take this risk. Of course they are. The Wild West is back. We saw what happened the last time there were no safeguards put in place, or very few safeguards. The other level is, of course, for the bankers, for the likes of Goldman Sachs and others, there is no risk. Why? Well, because as I hinted to earlier, the taxpayer will come in and mop up the disaster, will clean up after them. So the traders can get involved in massive amounts of risk, seeing their salaries increase up to 25 times. And then if everything goes pear-shaped, don't worry, the taxpayer will step in and pick up the tab, like before. And Brexiteer Andrew Bailey from the Bank of England is saying, this is a great idea. This is insane. This is insane. The idea that you would allow these bankers, there they were restricted before. The European Union said, look, we don't want to go through another financial disaster like 2007, 2008. So what we're going to do is put in high levels of regulation, which of course Brexiteers are against, and safeguard. We're going to stress test banks. We're going to put in restrictions. We're going to stop these traders from making massive bonuses, because if the bonuses are massive, of course they're going to take those massive risks. 25 times your salary, you can retire after one investment and live on an island somewhere. 12 million pounds, the reporter talked about here. 12 million pounds in one investment. Imagine that. Who would not jump at the chance? This is insane, and it means that there's massive risks are going to be taken, and there's going to be massive failure, because, if there's a risk of it collapsing. But there isn't a risk for the ones who are ultimately making these decisions, because they're going to be backed up by the state, the taxpayer. Ordinary people are going to bail them out. This is insane. It has to be stopped. We saw the consequences of that before. People lost their homes. People lost their pensions. Councils went bankrupt because somebody makes a dodgy investment and is packaged into another investment and packaged into another, and is sold off as a product from a financial institution. And then when one part of it breaks, the whole thing comes crashing down. We saw it before. And this aspect of Brexit makes perfect sense now. It's about taking away these safeguards. It's about allowing these people to make insane levels of money and know that, if it all goes wrong, the taxpayer will bail us out, like before. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.